The Calvert County, Maryland Commissioners' Reports is a headline news podcast provided in part by the Communications and Media Relations Division. Commissioners' Reports is a summary of the agenda and outcomes of regular Calvert County Board of County Commissioners meetings, as well as related public information and events. Hello, and welcome to Commissioners' Reports. I'm your host, Kevin G. Schmidt. In this week's Calvert County Board of County Commissioners meeting, public service announcements. Commissioner President Buddy Hance shared comments honoring the life and legacy of prominent Calvert County figure Margaret Miller, stressed the importance of voting in November, and acknowledged the U.S. Navy's 247th anniversary since its founding. Convene as the Board of Health. The Calvert County Board of County Commissioners is the designated ex officio Board of Health for Calvert County. The Board of Health is required to convene at least twice a year so that the health officer can provide an update on issues relevant to Calvert County's public health. Health Officer Dr. Lawrence Polsky briefed the BOCC on issues such as developing COVID-19 variants, bivalent vaccinations, long COVID symptoms, diabetes, tobacco use, and overall community health. Award. Employee of the Month. The Employee of the Month Award acknowledges individual excellence for superior job performance and/or special individual efforts that go above and beyond the employee's normal job duties. The Employee Recognition Committee is pleased to announce that Raymond Hutchins, Public Works Inspector No. 2, Department of Public Works, was selected as the September 2022 Employee of the Month. Appointments. Don Belinsky was reappointed to the Economic Development Authority. One vacancy remains. Daniel Baker Jr. and Marcia Claggett were reappointed to the Board of Appeals. One vacancy remains. David Campbell was appointed and James Levin was reappointed to the Environmental Commission. Michael Kent was reappointed to the Historic District Commission. Dale Weems was reappointed to the Building Board of Calvert County. Laura Cole, Beth Rimmer, and Rachel Distel were appointed to the Employee Recognition Committee. In a consent calendar, Department of Public Safety Mutual Aid Agreement, MMA, between Commandant Naval District Washington and Calvert Emergency Services. The MMA would render assistance between the aforementioned parties related to firefighting and other emergency-related incidents. Department of Community Resources Public Transportation FY 2023 Operating Grant Agreements to secure federal/state and local funding for the continued operations of our public transportation system. Department of Public Safety Tower and Ground Space Utilization MOU between Charles County and the Calvert County Board of Commissioners to construct a communications shelter and generator on the telecommunications tower at 100 Skipjack Road, Prince Frederick, Maryland. Department of Public Works First Lease Amendment Southern Library for the use of space that houses the Southern Library branch at the Patuxent Plaza Shopping Center in Solomons, Maryland. The amendment extends, modifies, and establishes the terms Calvert County Government, Patuxent Plaza LLC, and the Board of Trustees agreed to in their original lease, dated September 15, 2011. Department of Community Resources Local Behavioral Health Advisory Council Resolution related to the dissolving of the Core Services Board and the Local Drug and Alcohol Abuse Council and consolidation of their functions in the new Local Behavioral Health Advisory Council. All consent agenda items were adopted as presented. Presentation. Department of Public Works, USGS, Hydrogeology and Groundwater Resources of Calvert County. The Department of Public Works, Water and Sewer Division, and the USGS informed the BOCC and Calvert County citizens on the last 3 years of data for the Aquia Aquifer, and also reported on the past, present, and future conditions of all of Calvert County's water aquifers. Work session. Department of Planning and Zoning, Consolidated Transportation Program Tour Work Session. Every fall, the Secretary of the Maryland Department of Transportation, MDOT, and the heads of MDOT's 5 business units and 1 authority, including the State Highway Administration, Maryland Transit Administration, Motor Vehicle Administration, Maryland Aviation Administration, Maryland Port Administration, and Maryland Transportation Authority, meet with each of Maryland's 23 counties and Baltimore City. This meeting features a message from the Secretary, provides highlights from the current draft Consolidated Transportation Plan, CTP, and provides local elected officials and citizens the opportunity to comment and ask questions. The MDOT's draft capital program is then finalized and submitted with the governor's budget to the General Assembly in January. Multimodal transportation revenues and operations continue to recover from the social and economic challenges surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic. In developing the CTP and establishing funding levels, MDOT must consider state and local economic growth, fluctuations in transportation revenue, and allocations of various funding sources. In March 2022, U.S. Senators Ben Cardin and Chris Van Hollen worked to allocate direct federal investments for local projects across the Southern Maryland region. Within the fiscal year 2022 omnibus funding legislation, $1 million was secured to support the project design for the widening of MD4 and the Thomas Johnson Bridge replacement. The FY23 CTP draft allocates an additional $1 million to the Thomas Johnson Bridge replacement study. In addition, Calvert County is to receive funding for resurfacing and road rehabilitation projects at various locations throughout the county. Safety and spot improvement funding is to be awarded to Calvert to improve multiple intersections at Howling Point Road, MD 231, plus funding for sidewalk upgrades for Bayside Road, MD 261, for the safe routes to schools via the Transportation Alternatives Program. The draft includes funding for various replacement and maintenance equipment via the Systems Preservation's Minor Projects Program. Phase 4 of the MD24 widening project in Prince Frederick remains on hold. The CTP tour is scheduled for October 25, 2022 at 10 a.m. The BOCC and the public will have an opportunity to have a dialogue, discuss issues, and voice priorities in person with the Secretary Ports and representatives of MDOT's business units. In other Calvert County local news, as the weather cools down and the leaves begin to fall, the Linda L. Kelly Animal Shelter in Prince Frederick is providing even more reasons to get cozy with a new furry, feathered, or scaly friend by offering reduced adoption fees now through November 23, 2022. Regular adoption qualifications and procedures still apply. Adoption fees cover services that include age-appropriate vaccinations, spay or neuter, microchipping, heartworm testing for dogs, and feline leukemia virus and feline immunodeficiency virus testing for cats. Adoption fees are reduced by 50% until November 23rd. The Calvert County Administrative Charging Committee, ACC, will host the state's first Maryland Police Training and Standards Commission, MPTSC, ACC, and Trial Board training programs. The MPTSC training is required for ACC and Trial Board members throughout the state of Maryland. The training will take place during the 2nd and 3rd weeks of October in Prince Frederick. The MPTSC training program was developed to prepare the ACC and Trial Board members to perform their duties as outlined in the Maryland Police Accountability Act of 2021. ACC and Trial Board members will be instructed in topics that include police procedures, case studies, and administrative processes that will engage in situational-based learning. The Calvert County ACC has invited Charles and St. Mary's County ACC and Trial Board members to attend the training. Following MPTSC training, the 5-member ACC will meet at least monthly to review the findings of a law enforcement investigation to determine if it is appropriate to administratively charge a police officer who is the subject of investigation. The 3-member trial board will convene as needed for a charged officer's appeal of disciplinary action. Citizens can find ACC and trial board information on the Calvert County Police Accountability Board website at www.calvertcountypab.com. That concludes our broadcast. The Calvert County, Maryland Commissioner's Reports is a headline news podcast. Stay current with other news in Calvert County by following and liking the Calvert County government's Facebook page at facebook.com/Calvert County MD, on Instagram at Calvert Broadcast, on YouTube, youtube.com/Calvert County Gov, and our official website, www.calvertcountymd.gov. Thank you.